Happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're new here, my name is Holly. I make food and fitness content, and today we're going to be sat down and just having a little chat with each other. First things first though, I am struggling today. My wisdom tooth for the past 5 days is active. That's what we're going to say. It's just active. It is just constant, and I've had it flare up for like a day or like half a day before, but it does not seem to want to go away. I think I need it taken out. I actually can feel it. It's growing like that way in my mouth, which I know is not good. Also, on a lighter note, I did go and get my hair done today, so I'm feeling very, very fresh for today's video. But I'm not going to jabber on about my hair or my tooth for too much longer because there is something very important that I want to speak to you guys about. So today's video is going to be based around food guilt. And what I mean when I say food guilt is that guilty feeling that you get the day after you don't track, you enjoy some treats, you indulge, maybe overindulge, you just kind of let loose a little bit on food, on alcohol, and the next day you just wake up feeling a little bit guilty for it. And it sucks, and it's something that a lot of us struggle with. I think especially if you're in a dieting phase or if you're somebody that tracks, because it goes off of what you usually do and what's your usual norm, you kind of struggle with this internal battle of being like, did I do the right thing? Did I eat too much? Have I taken it too far? I shouldn't have done that. All of that kind of nonsense that goes on in our brain, and it's something that we all do struggle with. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this specifically because it is currently November. We are heading into the Christmas season, and we all know that with Christmas, this is why it's the best holiday ever, there is a lot of food around. We're always surrounded by snacks, Christmas dinner, Christmas pudding, sausage rolls, cheese boards, you name it. It is just constantly around us, which is, again, like I said, the best part about Christmas. And with that extra food and all of those yummy treats, unfortunately does sometimes bring along this food guilt. So what I wanted to do today is sit down and talk to you guys about my top 5 tips for how we can avoid or suppress our food guilt, because I want everybody to head into the Christmas season and enjoy all of the treats and all of the Christmas dinner that they want without that lingering feeling. So just to know, I have personally been on my fitness journey for 2 years now, and this is something that I do still struggle with from time to time. Specifically this week, I had a bit of a busy week last week. I was in London, I was eating out basically for 3 meals a day for like 5 days, and on Monday I was really struggling with food guilt. And it's something that, because I've been in my fitness journey for so long now, I kind of have like tips and tricks that make me feel better, help me suppress it, help me kind of talk myself down from feeling super guilty. And I just thought I have a platform that I can use to potentially help and share those tips and tricks, and hopefully, like I said, see you guys through the Christmas season without any food guilt. So the first thing that I kind of want to discuss around food guilt, and my first kind of tip, is that the sense of like food guilt and feeling bad for what you've eaten sometimes comes from a place of feeling like you don't deserve to have eaten the food you've eaten, and also comes from a place of feeling like, oh my god, I've completely fallen off track. So the first thing I want to point out is that you are completely worthy and deserving of enjoying all the treats you want. Life is full of amazing food and amazing treats, and you, like everybody else, are completely worthy of enjoying those and taking time off of your fitness journey and your fitness timeline, I guess, to enjoy those. You are worthy of it, so please remember that. I used to really struggle with this, specifically in the beginning of my fitness journey. I used to think, you're not there yet, you're not where you want to be, so you don't deserve to be eating those things. You shouldn't be having snacks, you shouldn't be having days off because you're not there. But you are. You are so deserving of being able to enjoy those treats no matter what stage of your fitness journey you're in. So please just remind yourself of that. The second little sub tip in this tip is referring to that phrase of, I've fallen off track. I am guilty of using this phrase a lot, but it's something that I really don't enjoy seeing or hearing. Oh, I had an off-track day. Because think about the track that you're on. Think about this. Your track is your lifespan, your life's journey. Throughout that track, are you not going to have any birthday parties? Are you not going to have any social occasions? No, you are. And you want to go to those and you want to enjoy them. So that is part of your track and part of your journey, if that makes sense. I feel like saying off track almost seems like you've fallen off and you need to get back on, but it doesn't. Those things are part of your track and part of your fitness journey. And I don't know whether I just really deep that, but that's how I feel about it. And I'm really guilty of saying it. I probably will still say it on social media sometimes, but sometimes I feel like saying, oh God, I fell so off track yesterday, is almost like you beating yourself up for enjoying those social occasions. So just remind yourself that you're still on the same track, you're still on the right path, you just had a bit of a different day. And that day, can I just add, is imperative to your fitness journey. If you are being so extreme and so regimented that you are going 7 days a week, 24 hours on plan for 12 months of a year, you probably are not feeling that much enjoyment from your fitness journey because it's not allowing you to go out for some drinks with your friends, to go out for a hot chocolate date, to enjoy a pizza with friends, because you're being so strict and regimented. And unless you are entering a bodybuilding competition, there is no need to be that regimented in your life. You are trying to make this a fitness journey, and that journey needs to incorporate the social occasions, so you give yourself that balance and you give yourself those days off to give you a refresh, so that you can the next day go back to your plan and feel a lot better about it, knowing that, yeah, do you know what, I'm actually ready to head into this week and hit my plan because I've been doing really well recently. I had a really fun day yesterday, enjoyed loads of pizza, and now I'm ready to get back into it. That is the kind of mindset refresh that you need sometimes, and it's just so healthy. So for tip number 1, I just want you to remind yourself that you're definitely worthy of having all that food. You deserve all the treats in the world, and that you are still on track. You just had a fun, enjoyable day that's given you a bit of a refresh to head back into it. So the next tip number 2 that I kind of want to talk to you guys about is just generally like understanding a bit more of the science behind it. And I'm not going to go into this too much, but in order to gain 1 pound of body fat, on average, you need to be eating 3,500 calories above the amount of calories that you burn in that day. The likelihood of you eating that over one day or over dinner is very small. And I think it's important to know that because a lot of us kind of wake up the next day and go, oh my God, I've gained weight. I put on weight because I had a pizza last night. The science says differently. That is not the case. That is definitely not fact. So just remind yourself that that is just a narrative that you have created in your mind. So tip number 3 that I want to speak to you guys about is actually kind of managing the next day. So a lot of the times when we're struggling with this food guilt, we tend to wake up in the morning, we're feeling a bit bloated, we're having those kind of niggles in the back of our head that think like, we've gained weight, you've eaten too much, we're overthinking what we've had to eat. And there are a few little things that I basically want to advise you not to do that day that will help you feel a lot better. Number 1, that we're all guilty of, do not step on those scales. Let me tell you, if you have had a heavy day of intaking foods with higher salt, say you had a Domino's, say you had a big pizza, say you got a KFC, those foods are a lot higher in salt. The sodium in that is going to make your body retain water weight. That is going to make you appear heavier on the scales. Stepping on that scale and seeing that is going to make you feel rubbish. Do not do it. Remember that fact. Remember that the scales are basically going to be giving you a false number, and do not get on them. If I've had a heavy day of eating or a bit of an indulgent day, I generally won't get on the scales for about 3 days afterwards because I know my body takes a while to settle. I hold on to bloating and water weight for a really long time, so I just avoid them altogether. Also, what you need to be doing on this day is avoiding body checking. I am also super guilty of this. I wake up, I'll go into the mirror and I'll lift up my top and be like, oh, what does my belly look like? Like, have I gained weight? Which is, again, like we've spoken about before, you have not gained weight. You're most likely holding on to water weight if you feel like you are. But going and body checking and just staring at a bloated belly isn't gonna make you feel any better. What I love to do here is just go and put some sweats on, put some comfy clothes on, because trust me, I've had these days and I've tried to put jeans on, and the last thing you want is to feel something like pinching at your bloat, just making you feel extra uncomfortable. So just put some comfy trackies on, put a baggy t-shirt dress on, and just chill. Try not to body check and stay away from the scales. Also, something to help that water weight retention is make sure you are hydrating. That is something to really stay on top of these days. That's going to help you flush everything out and reduce that water weight. Tip number 4, I feel like we are flying through these, is head back to your plan. The best thing you can do after a heavy day of eating or a heavy day of indulging is just to jump straight back into your normal routine. Do not restrict your food. And I know it's very tempting, and sometimes you can think, oh God, I'll just start restricting my food because I overate yesterday and that will make me feel better because I'll wake up the next day and I'll feel like I've balanced it out. Getting into that cycle and that routine is really dangerous. The best thing you can do for your body is just head back to the level that you were eating at before. Honestly, it will regulate everything way quicker than kind of messing with it and doing these up and downs, and that will mess with your head as well. Like I said, it's a really toxic cycle to get into. So all you need to do is just jump straight back into your original plan. One thing that I also noticed throughout my fitness journey was that letting myself have those days, so having a bit of a day where I don't track my calories and I indulge in some foods and I indulge in some treats, and then getting straight back to it the next day, builds up really good habits, because you're proving to yourself like, yeah, I'm allowed those days, I'm worthy of those days, I can have those days. However, I know that I'm strong enough and I have the consistency to get back to it the next day. But I know that I have the determination and I've built the consistency, so I can literally the next day wake up and be like, right, you had a really good day, get back to it. Get back onto your original eating plan, get back into your original exercise routine. And doing that and having a few of those overindulgent days and then doing that can really, really build up that habit. So this is why, again, I feel like they're more beneficial to have than to not have. Finally, the last point that I want you guys to remember, especially over this Christmas period, is if you come out the other end and it hits January and you step on those scales and you have gained a pound or you have gained 5 pounds, it does not matter. That number on the scales does not define you. The amount of body fat you have does not define you. What you're going to remember is not that number on the scales or the number on the measuring tape. You're going to remember the incredible Christmas that you had, and part of that is enjoying the incredible food you had and the incredible Christmas dinner that you sat down, you sat with your grandma, you sat with your dad, you sat with your cousins. That is what you are going to remember. You are not going to remember the number that the scales told you in January. So if you feel like you want to just let loose and you really want to indulge and enjoy treats, by all means, please do it, because in a year's time, you will thank yourself that you made those memories rather than restricting, because you will remember being miserable at Christmas. I have had Christmases where I've restricted my eating, I've been nervous around food, I felt on edge the whole time, and I remember those ones, and it's not a pleasant memory. So you guys need to remember that if you do wake up in January and you have gained a couple of pounds, it does not matter. The memories are far more important than the macros in that situation. And I just want you all to go and have the best Christmas ever. We bloody deserve it, especially after the last few years in COVID. Enjoy the treats, enjoy your Christmas parties, enjoy sitting down with your grandma and having a hot chocolate, all of those incredible things. So those are my top 5 tips. I hope they've been helpful. Obviously, all of the tips that I can kind of give to you guys on food guilt do just come from personal experience, but those are kind of the tips and tricks and little things that I remember that do make me feel a lot better. So I hope we can all head in to the end of November and the beginning of December and the end of December and just enjoy a food guilt-free Christmas. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday.